Hi, my name is Crystal. I'm part of the new PA program, class of 2019.
So my name is Ilse Tejeda. I'm a first year student here at Charles Drew at the Master Physician Assistant program.
Hello, my name is Anthony Rizzuto, and I'm a Charles R. Drew class of 2019.
My name is Nayeli Del Paz, and I am part of the PA program, class of 2019.
Hi, I'm Michael, class of 2019.
And what I like so far is just the close-knit community the PA program, just the school in general has.
Friendly faces everywhere you turn, not just with the PA program itself, but the entire school. Just super friendly, and you can see how much they push for social justice and creating great minds here as students.
I'm excited to be here. What I love most about Drew is I feel like I'm a name and I'm not a number here. And that was very important for me, coming from the East Coast, from New York. I wanted to make sure that people would notice me as a name and not just a number. So that was very important for me. So I feel like I'm home here. That's what I love about Drew.
They're all about seeking social justice. I think I like that. It makes this program in school really unique.
Faculty and all the staff really embrace you and make you feel like family when you first come here. So it's really great and it's encouraging to see.
I'm absolutely loving it. My classmates are awesome. The staff is also awesome. Everybody's very welcoming. I'm loving how different the school is from every other school that I've seen, and I'm excited for the next 27 months.
You can call me Freshie, catch me in my J's. Catch me, see I caught them early. My swerve is crazy. Them hating niggas always hate 'cause they lazy. And you can never play me. I think about the kicks all the time. If it ain't money, then it's sneakers. You can call me Freshie, catch me in my J's. Catch me walking around in my 7 on my 8s. Shoe game is awesome, your boy don't play. Damn near different pair of kicks same day. You can call me a sneakerhead. Yeah, I'm a sneakerhead. Catch me with a different pair of kicks, 'cause I'm a sneakerhead. Call me a sneakerhead. Yeah, I'm a sneakerhead. Catch me with a different pair of kicks.
Theater company that puts together amazing performances like you saw today to uplift the community using hip hop, theater, film, and poetry. And today they came to welcome our new class of 2019 and kick off the start of our orientation event. So today we have Straight Out of Drew.
Professor Moini, she's pretty amazing. This amazing program, but that's what she does in her spare time. So we want to welcome everybody to the Straight Out of Drew community panel. We're so excited to kick off the celebration of the fall semester and the class of 2019. So we are so blessed and excited to have you guys here. I would like to introduce these 5 members of our community to kick off this day with some education, entertainment, collaboration, and really inviting the Drew students to join in and get to know some of the community members that we will be interacting with throughout the next 2.5 years here, and hopefully after that as well. So today we have joining us Dr. Ronald Beavers, Dr. Sylvia Ivey, Dr. Michael Fisher, Dr. Cynthia Gonzalez, and Henry Hank Jones, and that is not in the order that they're sitting in. They will be providing an introduction and historical perspective of the surrounding community and the important role of you guys as healthcare providers, future healthcare providers. We're so excited and we welcome you all. Thank you all for coming, and we hope that you learn and have a great time here at your time at Drew.
Okay, first of all, I wish to welcome the incoming students, the students getting ready to start their clinicals. I'll be seeing you in 2 weeks. But most of all, I just wish to I'm going to synopsisize this and put it in the perspectives of not only a legacy, a spirit. And the spirit is of being a healing warrior. And I really want you to understand what a healing warrior is. And Hakeem, it's a Jigna, a warrior that's been tested by time, a warrior that's been tested by battle, a warrior that now has the blessings of God to treat and touch his people. You're special. That's what I'm saying. We have to have a balance in life. And then balance in life means you have to go through certain things. I'm one, you're looking at it. It wasn't because of, it's just the way that the cards had to be dealt to me and how I handle the cards. Now, no one can say, what am I, I wasn't gifted, I wasn't born with this. But you have choices. And the choice is whether you can keep the same deck of cards you were dealt with or the same hand when you were born, or as you go through life, you can discard like playing poker and get a better hand. That's what it's about. Now, sometimes there's adversity. Adversity challenges you because adversity is put there by God to make you a better person. How you gonna handle it? Where if you keep on doing the same thing and you're getting the same results, we know that's insanity, but however, one of our fear factors is the thing that keeps us from being our best. The fear of failure, the fear of success. Am I gonna make it? Do I want to be comfortable? And we being human beings, we have the propensity to want to be comfortable. You go to school, you do what have you, you further your education, but understand something. You got to keep your spirit intact. Because what happens is, you don't know what life is going to throw at you. And it could kind of derail you. For instance, failure. You can take failure and you can accept it, you can internalize it, and then that can be part of your persona. Or you can take it and say, you know what, as long as I'm breathing, I did not fail. Life is just bumping me in another direction. You just have to redirect a little bit. But being a healing warrior, trust me, you're going to go through something. And you're dealing and you're touching human beings that may not have had the opportunity to be in positions that you are, but they're still God's people. Me personally, I've had choices, and my choices have taken me quite a few places. But most of all, the biggest choice that I made in my life is that I'm right here where I was born, being of service to folk, to try to pass on a legacy of people taking care and looking out for themselves. Healthy people make good decisions. And that goes for you too. The most dangerous, most self-destructive thing I've seen are people, are individuals who professionally have excelled, but all of a sudden they hit a wall, and the wall is that they lose touch on why they're doing what they're doing. But you must trust, because your destiny is always it's earmarked already. It's left up to you to find the way. And you can't find it on your intellectual capacity. You can't find it on your feelings. It's only your spirit that's going to guide you. So long as you never forget where you came from, you won't get lost in where you're going. I'm not going to babysit you, but what I will do, I will give you everything you need, so when you leave the nest, you're going to make it. And that's why I stay involved with the PA program. That's why I stay involved really with Charles Drew University. Do I get along with folk all the time? Hell no. I mean, they know me. Let's leave him alone. He'll be all right. Just leave me alone. But what I am, I'm honest, I'm straightforward, and it ain't about me anymore. See, there's a difference. It's about the future of this university. It's about the legacy. It's about the blood that's been shed. It's about where it's been built. Middle class, African American homes, right here where we're sitting. That's what it's about. People, you're standing on shoulders that folk have made supreme sacrifices to give you an opportunity to make it. If you ever go to Ghana, you ever go to the castles, where the dungeons, you will hear the voices from the ancestors, the moaning, the crying, because they know they'll never go home again. Well, that transcends to right here, where we are, at Charles Drew University and MLK Hospital. So you have an opportunity, you're blessed, to step forward, to hold that legacy. And I guarantee you, anyone that's ever been here, there's something special that takes place. There's a transitioning, a metamorphosis that takes place. Because when you learn it's not about you, then you found your way. Now think about what I just said. When you learn it's not about you, then you have found your way. Because then you're humble enough to be guided. I wish to thank you, bless you, and I'll talk to you later. Thank you.
Yeah, I'm a servant of the people. I'm a former member of the Black Panther Party for Self-Defense. I'm one of the original members. Joined the Black Panther Party in 1968. And before that, I was a community organizer. I worked with the Student Nonviolent Coordinating Committee in San Francisco. We were trying to elevate the consciousness of our community, our people, and empower them, or at least make them realize the power that they already possess.
That's right.
And in doing so, I spent a lot of days and nights going door to door, just knocking on people's doors and talking to them, getting to know them, find out what their issues were, find out what they wanted, you know, what they needed. And in that process, I learned to serve people. And I wasn't always a servant of the people, you know. Like most people, you start out, you go to school, you look forward to getting a job and living a nice, comfortable life after that. And that's about all you want, you know. But I found that that's not enough. It's not enough. I mean, that's always out there for you. You can choose to, you know, go for yourself. But in interacting with a community, with people, you recognize that no man is an island. You can't, you know, it's not enough just to be personally successful. There are others out there who have needs and who don't have the opportunity you have, or who don't have the advantages you do, or aren't as gifted as you are, and all of this, but who looks out for them? Now, my father laid that on me when I was a small boy, you know, always help those who can't help themselves. So I guess I was locked into that from the start. Really didn't have a choice. What he preached and taught me all the time. And he was like that. My father was a college-educated man. Fisk College in Tennessee. He was a Fisk Jubilee singer, you know. But what they did back in those days, the talented 10th, he was considered one of them. They went to college, they got the education, they came back, and they tried to uplift the community, you see. And that has always stuck with me. I was in the fight to establish the Black Studies program at San Francisco State, the first Black Studies program. The goal and the purpose of that program was for people to go, have access to a college education, and in order to do that, we had to break down barriers, you know, that because they didn't have the foundational education they needed to get into San Francisco State, so we established programs to compensatory programs, allowed them to have access. But the purpose in bringing them there was for them to get a higher education, get out and get a job and go back and uplift the community. Same thing my father did. And I was telling the brother, I was fortunate enough to be raised in a village, by a village. And we had no choice in New Albany, Mississippi. It was strictly segregated. So we had to do what we did, look out for each other, establish our own enterprises and share what we had, all of that. And every child was a child of the community. So I had that foundation, you know. Many of you don't have that opportunity. Many of you don't know what that means. Okay. And so I feel that you've been robbed of something. And I'm here to try to explain to you the benefit of that. We don't have communities, my people, we don't build communities anymore. We have neighborhoods. See, neighborhoods will allow the freeways built down the middle of them, so divide them like that. Communities won't allow that. Neighborhoods will allow gentrification and the removal of the indigenous population. Communities won't allow that. Gentrification is another form of colonialism. That was made clear to me when in 2016 I went to Palestine and occupied territories, and I saw blatant, naked colonialism up close and personal. And I came back thinking that, what does that got to do? How does that, what does that mean to my life? That's just not those people over there. That's oppressed people everywhere, okay? My message to young people today, or anybody today, is that we have to go back and learn the lessons of our past. Establish communities, build communities, stay on the land, create a village, raise our children in that village. See? That's imperative because communities have power, have clout, have strength, you see, and are nurturing. Create healthy individuals. So today, I go around, I speak to young people on campuses and stuff. I work with Black Lives Matter. I'm a resource person. I call myself a resource person because I've been down the road. I've been at this since I was 20 years old. I'm 82 now. The reward in life is in service to others. If you aren't doing something for other people, you're actually, to me, you're robbing yourself of your reward in life. Because that's when you really find out who you are. You know, that's what actually nurtures your spirit. You see? And that's what makes you healthy. I'm still kicking. I keep wondering why. You know, why am I still here? Because there's something I have to do, right? There's something I need to do, not just for others, but for me also. I have to do that for my own well-being. You know, I've been shot at, I've been locked up, I've been forced to go underground and run for my life, all of this. And I've survived all of that for a reason. And I think this is the reason, what I'm doing right now. This is the reason. Healthcare is a problem in this country. They make it seem like it's a privilege and that you should pay for that. Health care should be guaranteed to every citizen of this country. It should be a right. What good is a social system if it does not take care of its people? What is the point? Why do you pay taxes? You know, why do you support a system like that? What good does it do? It just uses you, takes your money, and gives you nothing? No. You should have health care guaranteed. In the 60s, we created, in the Black Panther Party, we created free health clinics. Free health clinics. People could come, get treated by volunteer doctors and nurses. And today, there's only one of those left, I think, in the country. Healthcare is big business. Healthcare is, you know, corporate profiteering. Something's wrong with that. Something is wrong with that. Serve people, serve others. You'd be surprised how it makes you feel. You can live forever.
All right, what's up? First of all, it's always a pleasure to be able to sit on a panel with those that have attributed such great stones for us to stand on throughout the struggle. I'm a product of men such as to my left, and a product of strong women such as to my right. My father, who is actually 93 years old, he was one of the first black men to actually serve and storm Normandy and fight in the war. And so I'm very conscious about the struggle where we come from. My name is Michael Fisher, and I'm a pastor, a proud pastor. I know these days people are kind of ashamed, but I'm kind of cool, so I'm a proud pastor. Everyone else can be proud to be what they are. I'm proud to be a pastor. And I actually pastored down the street over there on El Segundo in Wilmington. It's actually the first black church in the city of Compton. It was established in 1954. You have an opportunity to serve people, and what I like about this panel and what I like about what I'm seeing is that our God is so awesome that He has a tendency of using everyone's different experiences in life, different walks of life, journeys, to be able to achieve one common purpose. Nobody has to do it the exact same way, and I think that sometimes where we mess up is when one person thinks that they have the all in all and how to help the people. You know, you have, everyone brings something different to the table. And that's the reason why you're here. That's the reason why it's not just a room full of just one person. Everyone is in here. You've all come from different walks of life. And now there is a purpose that is calling you to help others. I agree with everything that's been said. Your life is meaningless if all that you got from it was a nice car, nice clothes, a big house, a degree that you could put on a wall, that really, after a while, no one even asks you for. And after a while, no one really cares that you have it. Your life is meaningless if that's the only thing you're trying to attain. Your life is meaningful when it is that you use all of those resources to be able to help somebody who cannot help themselves. You have an opportunity to change this world. You really do. Like every single time that you talk to somebody or console somebody or give them a remedy to be able to live when they think that they're going to die, you have an opportunity to change them forever. And thank you guys for having me. And follow me on Facebook and Instagram under Michael J.T. Fisher. And I will follow you back. I'm here. I may have to leave early to go to Bible study, but I'm here as long as I can to answer as many questions as I possibly can. Cool? Cool. All right. Thank you.
Well, I want to start by asking you not to answer this out loud, but to ask yourselves, what is your dream? What is your dream for yourself? Fast forward to a ripe old age, you've had your careers, you've done the things that you wanted to do. When you look back on it, will you be able to say, I had my dream? And it's very important to ask yourself that because it gives you direction. Your dreams may change. I hope that your dreams will grow and that you'll have more things on your list of things that are your dream as you go forward. Dr. Balcansar and I were just talking about policy, health policy. You're going to learn a lot about clinical care of patients, but you're also going to learn a lot about how to help patients and what reaches them. I went to a meeting that was on diabetes, and there were a panel of people like this talking about it, instructing, this is what diabetes is, this is where we have it, the statistics on it. But the thing I took away from the meeting was the conversation I had with a physician at Cedars-Sinai sitting next to me, who said, it's important for patients to know that it's not okay if they're pre-diabetic, that the harm that comes to the different organs is already happening to all the organs in the pre-diabetic state. you don't have to wait for diabetes to be in danger's way. Now that was applied policy. The policy is we've got a big problem in the state of California with diabetes. But the applied part is how do you reach people to care about that? And what she said to me was the best argument that I had heard that day about what will reach people, because that's not presented that way. So when you're dealing with patients, you're going to learn what they pay attention to you when you say and what they ignore you when you say. And that may interest some of you in policy, applied policy, how to reach people to take care of the disparities in health that you're dreaming to address by being here. I want you to know also that you're not here just as yourselves. You really are part of a very, very important experiment that's going on in this school. This school is different than any other school in the country. There are a lot of schools, there are a lot of people, a lot of bright young people, as each of you are. But nobody has said, can we set up a medical training school that's really going to be connected to the community, that's really going to be educated by the community, that's going to shape what they do in connection with the community. We have community faculty. The job of the community faculty is to take learning out that they get from inside the university and to bring learning in. So it has to be collaboration, and there has to be interest in learning always from the patient so that you can be better practitioners, because they have a lot to tell you. They have a lot to tell you. But the look on the faces of those women was so extraordinary because nobody in medicine had ever asked them those questions. Nobody cared who they were at home. They just wanted to know, what's your presenting problem? I've got 15 other patients waiting. What are you here for today? But the presenting problem might not be fixed unless you've got cooperation and trust. And when you ask people who they are, you get cooperation and trust. So remember to ask people. It doesn't take long. It doesn't take long, but it just makes a world of difference. They'll cooperate and you'll learn. So you're part of a dream that people had before you came here. This is a privilege that's come to your generation. It's a privilege. And we have very high expectations of you to fulfill that privilege and be the very best community leaders, not just providers, community leaders, keeping that larger context that you're hearing everybody talk about here today. You carry that message, you carry that opportunity, and you carry that dream. Thank you.
How do I follow that? I had to take out my handy-dandy notebook to make sure I touched on a few things. Hi everyone, I'm Cynthia Gonzalez. I'm a professor here at Drew in the public health program. I came across Drew when I was in high school. I actually went to high school right around the corner at King Drew Elementary. I am a child and product of Watts, born right across the street. And, to just continue that cycle, I actually ended up working at a research center where I was born, in the room, in the unit where I was born, all thanks to staying at Drew. I started as a high school student researcher, and then when it was time to go to undergrad, I was brought on board as a research assistant and have gone through the pipeline here at Drew. Ever since, I've been here about 18 years. And I'm now in the faculty. Finished a bachelor's and a master's and a PhD. And I agree with everything our speakers are saying. I'm completely enlightened and just honored to be sharing this space with you all. In health, we understand that access to healthcare is about 10% of our health. 30% is our biology, but 60% is our environment. And practitioners don't understand that. Your patient will not be the fullness of itself at that moment that it shows up. It has to walk out into a world that determines already how healthy they'll be. You have a responsibility that's beyond you, beyond us. And congratulations on that, because the work of justice is never ending. We're here thanks to folks who worked to enable us to have this right to education, and to ensure that then we offer the same opportunities for those that come after us. And I think the panelists have definitely shared what that is. And it's really funny because 52 years later, we have to be really excited about when we get a restaurant, or when we get a hospital, or when we get things that are just basic human rights. But if you go to other communities, you can Yelp, fusion, Mexican, Japanese, and you find 10,000 restaurants. And so it's like, we get local and everyone's like, yay, Watts got local. It's like, well, why hadn't we got like 10,000 locals? And what is it about space that doesn't enable policy to support us? Because the folks making the policy don't understand what is going on with us. And that's very much representative in our current federal government. So I hope you understand that, like, what we learn academically is really, really great, but you could just be really smart in the books and not really understand what's going on in the streets. For my dissertation, that's one of the things I wanted to do. I wanted to learn more about my community and not make assumptions about it. So I actually ended up developing the Watts Community Studio, where I partnered with government, academia, and nonprofits to do an assessment of the neighborhood and ask residents, what is your lived experience like? What are your concerns? What do we need to do? That was in 2013. And little did we know we were developing this like really cool model, because we ended up hiring youth from the community, taught them about like their neighborhoods and their history. And from like the first question we asked them was like, what do you like about Watts? And they're like, nothing, you can't do anything here, miss. We just live here, but we go elsewhere for things. And then after, we actually trained them on doing the surveys, going door to door, learning about the history through the surveys, entering the data, proposing their own interventions based on that. And after that, they were like, oh my gosh, we didn't know like Watts had all of this. This is really, really great. And so, major findings in that simple assessment was, if you look at the McCone report, which is a report that assessed the 1965 Watts uprisings in 1965, and you look at, our assessment, the priorities of the neighborhoods are the same. The only difference is that 1965 Watts was about 90% Black, and now it's about 70% Latino, with issues of, now immigration and language. And so it's like, if we don't begin to talk about our shared struggles, we're only going to repeat them. The residents in South LA are changing. It's increasing. White residents are increasing by 4% in South Central, because now it's prime real estate, because we don't fit anywhere else, and LA is just a great place to live. And it's not necessarily about having white residents, but what does whiteness represent for communities of color, given our histories of displacement, histories of colonization. And so gentrification is a real issue, because we're beautifying neighborhoods, we're doing things that our neighborhoods want, that we need, those basic resources for human dignity, but we're not giving it to the people, we're not connecting it, we're just relocating the disadvantage and the issues. And I share this all with you all to really point out that when you have that clinical encounter, there's so much more to your patient than the labs. There's so many lived experiences, and you have had them as well. And so you have to find within yourself your own personal categories of privilege and categories of oppression to understand how they intersect, and to use that to not enable implicit biases or generalizations of what your patients are going to be, because there's going to be so much more after they leave you. So, thank you.
Thank you guys all so much. We're going to open it up to questions for the students. So we have a bunch of microphones around the room that we're just going to pass around.
I just had a quick question for the pastor. What is looking for a church around here?
Oh yeah, we're looking for you. As Greater Zion Church Family, Greater Zion Church Family is right up the, literally right up the street. Like, just go south on Wilmington. As soon as you pass El Segundo, we're the first church on your left-hand side. I would hope that you would be very responsible with this community. And what I mean by that, please talk about prevention, right? Don't get caught up in the whole scheme of, making money off of the issues of the community. We have been raped long enough.
That's right.
We have been raped long enough. I'm right now fighting a war against this whole recreational use of marijuana. And I'm not talking about medicinal, right? I'm talking about the recreational use of it and how it is that the people of power find Compton and Watts very attractive to come in and make money off of our addictive history. Please be responsible. What I mean by that, you have to come in educating the people of the dangers of eating certain foods, not partaking with us. You have a different responsibility, okay? And I just wanted to to say that, because the things that we're eating, the things that we're consuming, the things that are going into our bodies is attributing to the cholesterol, the colon cancer, and all of those things. And the pharmaceutical industry has just become this huge multi-trillion-dollar industry that makes money off of keeping people sick and just doling the effects. I would love for you all to come into this wanting to be true physicians. By definition, the word physician, even if you're a clinician, whatever, physician means someone that makes someone whole, right? Not someone who just medicates, right? Someone finding out what's going on with the person and knowing how to make them whole. Teaching the community that what you eat helps you sleep or doesn't. Gives you a nice attitude or makes you mean. The preservatives, the steroids, the things that's going into the chicken and stuff like that that is given to us, predicated to, if you go on to Torrance, right, you get a different kind of an experience. Beverly Hills, every single restaurant is vegan options, right? But every single restaurant here is Mickey D's. Why is that? Right? So please be responsible with this community and educate them. And then you yourself can't be a hypocrite. Do not partake of the very thing you're telling us is killing us. Because then if we find out that you're a hypocrite, we will not listen to you. No matter, you can have all the degrees on the wall.
That's true.
But this community and the millennial generation specifically will not pay attention to somebody who's telling me one thing and doing something else.
You made a comment about perceived notions of our community when you went away to school, and I had a similar experience when I went away to Syracuse University, when I would explain that, I'm from Los Angeles. What part? South Central. And, the reaction was, oh my gosh, did you walk out and see people get shot every day? And it's, of course, to us, since we're from this part of town, it seems ridiculous. But my question to you is, did you feel any kind of shame when you initially began to get that response? And as you went through your career, your academic career, how did that sense of shame turn into a sense of pride of where you come from? Because you obviously have a lot of pride in your city, and I respect that. And I also had that similar experience where I would say, oh, well, I live by the airport. I would never really identify where I live. But now, yes, I'm from South Central, and I'm a graduate of Syracuse University, and that's a sense of pride for me. So how did you come about that?
So shame, no. I think it's largely because of my village. My village demonstrated pride. It was more anger. A significant amount of anger, and I struggled what to do with that anger. I was very reactive, anxiety, and really felt through my body. And it was through education that I was able to locate that anger and put it somewhere. So I like challenging folks. So when you show up in a space and you have an alphabet soup after your name, there's some sense of legitimacy. And so you challenge perceived perspectives. And that allows you to speak in a different way. That allows you for folks to hear you. to share stories of pride and resiliency, right? But yeah, I think it's more like where you locate that anger, not necessarily shame, like also having to direct, is it shame or is it anger? And are you purposely saying I'm from the airport because you don't want to get into that dialogue? Because it's also not your responsibility to educate folks about the differences in narrative. But I think if you want to challenge dominant perspectives, you're going to have to.
I'm a faculty here. My name is Mohsen. Forget about last name, it's too difficult to pronounce it. But let me tell you with all honesty, I didn't have to say that, but with all honesty, I feel much safer here than my home, which is in Torrance, Palos Verdes. I've been here for 25 years. You're going to be here 3 years. If you wish that these 3 years get over and you close your eyes, I wish it was 2020 and I'm graduating, I'm going to practice. You are a loser then. You are a loser if you feel that way. You are going to be here 3 years and live with these 3 years. Learn how to love people who are underserved. Learn how to respect those people who are angry, who are frustrated because of the system. That's the way to feel safe here. I'm very proud of this community. I'm very proud that I'm here in this university because I love what I'm doing. Every minute of it. This is another way to answer your question. Thank you.
And just to note, one of the qualities that CDU has is our passionate faculty. If there's anything that has kept me here has been that being okay with discomfort, naming racism, naming the issues, the injustice, having those critical conversations, having a diverse faculty, loving our students. You all don't understand how committed we are to you. And I think that really determines a lot of how comfortable and safe you feel in a space.
Whenever you have an opportunity to be able to sow seed into people, those are those valuable moments. And before I leave, I just want to say about the shame piece, that resonated with me. I've been blessed to have a doctorate and a master's and degree and all of that good stuff, and I travel and I go speak all over the country, halfway around the world. I've been to Jerusalem, I've studied at Oxford University in London. I've had all those experiences, and it's always funny when I go and I fly like first class and I sit in first class, and in the whole first class, I'm always the only black person in first class unless I'm going to Atlanta. And immediately all the first class looks and like, oh my gosh, what is he doing here? You know? And I've never dealt with that shame thing. I walk in boldly, you know, I sit down, I'm waiting on it, you know, they be like, so I know it's coming. So what do you do? And I'm like, it's time. You know, don't be ashamed of it. You know, these are unique people. They may be underserved, but a lot of them don't even know that they're underserved. Not because they're ignorant, but because they've learned how to make the best with the worst. And so you find it as a privilege. You're not doing anybody a favor by being here. You know, so if anybody thinks that, bring yourself down a notch. This community has been around a long time before you decide to turn in this direction. All right? They're great people. They're strong. Don't be ashamed to come from it. That's the reason. Listen, that's why everyone else tries to be it. Everyone tries to represent privately Watts. Everyone wants to be straight out of Compton, right? So now he's straight out of Omaha, you know. Everyone wants to be this, you know, so be proud of it. We've changed the culture. We've changed how people talk, how they dance, how they rap, how they sing, our hair, right? And so now they look and be like, oh, your hair is so curly, so interesting. And then they go out and try to make a weave that look like it, you know. Be proud of this community. Come these 3 years, do the work. Do the work, get in the community, come talk to people like me at the church, come visit us, Come taste the community, taste of the community, so you can get to know the people so you can better serve them better. Thank you for your time. I had to leave early, I'm sorry.
Hi. Thank you all again for coming. It's honestly a privilege to be sitting here listening to all of you, and obviously at Charles Drew University. As a future PA and with my classmates, I feel like one of our struggles in this community is going to be building trust. How do you all advise us in building trust and having the community trust these future PAs? Some of us are not from the community, are not from here, are not from even California. So how would you go about trusting us with the community?
How would I go about trusting you? How do you think? Now think about what you just asked. Isn't it about being authentic? Isn't it about being genuine? I believe the pastor just alluded to the fact that we can smell a rat coming. I watch you walk before you even talk. Because a lot of folk come in, and I'm going to say this because I just have to deal with a situation, to come in as the Savior. I'm here to help you. I don't need your help. Because we've been making it. I just need for you to be authentic. The PA students come in with the yoga, thanks to Professor Kosick. You know, they're trying to get me into it, but that's going to take some work, trust me. You know, nutrition, yes. Yoga, no. But each one of the young ladies that they see, the whole thing is they're coming and they're meeting them on their level. Being authentic, bottom line, genuine, is the best thing you can do to gain trust.
Can I add, Ron, to that? Don't take it on yourself to be the only connector.
Yeah.
Try to figure out who that person is going to be most comfortable with. It might be the receptionist, it might be the financial screener, it might be a health education outreach worker, and that's okay. Anybody that they feel like this is my person in this space, that's a good person for you to talk to about that patient. When I was in the clinic, everybody picked somebody that was their person, and it was different for everyone. But I was so happy that everybody found somebody that they felt safe to talk to, safe to tell their secrets to. A lot of times you don't get the secret that they're living in their car. You know, it might be the receptionist that gets that. You know, and then the receptionist knows to bring you that information. She's living in her car. I just wanted you to know that. You can't bond with every patient that you see, and you shouldn't expect that to happen.
True that.
There will be some that you bond with, and some that you do not. But it's important that they feel there's somebody in the environment who they can bond with, because then that is part of their village. That's part of their place where they get care for their spirit as well as for their body.
You know, it means putting yourself in the other person's place, or standing in their shoes, or standing in their place. And it's not sympathy, it's empathy, you see. It's deeper than sympathy. You're not there to solve the person's problems. You're there to help them see that they have the power and the wherewithal to solve their own problems. And how can you assist them to get to that point? Okay? You know, like the brother was saying, they're already dealing with the situation. They don't really need you to do that, you see. But if there's something you can contribute to their effort, then they, be genuine and for real about it, and they'll allow that. You know, you're not a savior coming in. You don't have the solutions. Say, you know, I don't have the answers. We have the answers. You say.
That's right.
So that's the kind of attitude you have to, I think, bring to the situation. And be for real. You know, be genuine. You know.
Hi everyone, my name is Hector Balcazar. I'm the Dean here of the College of Science and Health. And I just wanted to make a comment to say that for all the students that are here, that we welcome you and we'll have many opportunities to welcome all of you. Is this kind of momentum that you guys are with these incredible people that you see with tremendous wisdom and knowledge and humility and standing in front to tell a story about humanity. And I think as we stand every day here, we have opportunities to really conquer that element of humanity. And I'm so glad that the physician assistant program is very in tune with that. And I praise all the leaders here that are doing that. When Professor Morney and Cossack and everyone thinks about bringing people like you, is because they're thinking about you and about how to best think about the kinds of things and questions that you're going to arise as that you're going to have as you encounter clinical elements. But then you will have that component to say it's all about our humanity. What we believe is walk the talk, talk the walk. Some of the things that we believe about it, I think we have to prove them. And I think today was one good example.
Thank you so much to all of our great speakers. That was absolutely fantastic. We really, really appreciate you taking the time to come and talk to our new students. We're excited to have you guys. I hope everyone's taken away the message of, you know, you treat everybody as a human. We're all here to figure out how we can help each other. We're in a place where there's so much history and so many people who have fought for just rights that should never have to even be fought for. And where did the young lady go that asked the shame question? You know, when someone says, where do you go to school? You say, I'm straight out of Drew, I'm straight out of Watts, and you say it with pride. And if they are taken aback, you have shame for them, because it's sad that there's such ignorance still left in the world. And so I kind of think it's a positive, because for me, when you say where you work and somebody has that kind of reaction, I think, thank you for letting me know how you are, so I didn't have to suffer and know you and maybe think I was gonna be your friend. I know right away I want to have nothing to do with you.
That's right.
So, you know, this is just like Pastor Fisher said and all of our guests, you know, there is so much amazing everything that comes out of our community, and we will be the model for the rest of the world, because it is special. Everything down to just political gains, music, food. There's literally everything has come from here, and I personally feel very privileged to be a part of it, and to have you guys here. So.
Hi, I'm Galina, class of 2019, and I really enjoyed this panel and the discussion. It was really like eye-opening, and it gave me a lot, because I'm new to this area, so I learned a lot more about the neighborhoods around us, and it was really it was really passionate. I love the passion in everybody, and so I'm really excited, maybe more excited to even be here, to be in this university, and know that I'm gonna make a difference, that I'm really working towards something bigger than myself. So I loved it.
My name is Wafa Ahmed. I'm a PA student in the class of 2019. Just had the privilege of listening to multiple speakers right now, and it was extremely inspiring and moving. I feel like I'm here for a purpose, and throughout the next 27 months I'm going to be working closely with the leaders of this community as well as the population, and learning how to serve them is going to make me a better provider, and upon graduation I hope I can fulfill the mission of Charles Drew University.
Hi, my name is Daniela Pomeradi. I'm a PA student in the class of 2019, and this is my first week here. We just had the privilege of listening to a panel of speakers that are community leaders and work with the program, and it was such an honor to hear them speak and talk about their experiences with the community and really what the community means to them and what their work has been. It's definitely been very inspiring, and I look forward to working closely with the community, with the faculty members, and just learning a lot from Charles Drew University.